Left Podcast, Honora Boys. We are in the building. Brought to you by Honora Whiskey. It is honorawhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. And if you, by chance, celebrate as we head into the start of college football this weekend, please make sure that you do it
responsibly.
with Yep. We're back. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm Sean Davis, SD2 Mics, that dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. Brought to you by Honora Whiskey. It's honorawhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. While you're watching us right now, go ahead. It only takes a few seconds. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all the comments. Continue to flow in. People getting connected to us from us being off. We appreciate all of the love. X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. And courtesy of Believe Network, audio edibles on Apple Podcasts and Spotify dropping each and every day. And we are presented by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. I'm watching you, FanDuel. It's already crept up to 20 and a half points. Will it creep up to 21 and a half? Is there any other news coming out of South Bend or Madison?
We might catch up to what some of these teams playing these Abilene Christians and stuff. They got 48, 28, 38.
I know.
We might, but we got a real team. So what's that say about us?
You can find that and much more over at FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. We thank you for the jewels once again. MJ the Great, Ting Jules. We appreciate you. Keep giving us jewels, and we'll continue to drop the jewels. That's what we do right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm loving it. Left, how's everything going? What game day this week for you is what?
Oh man, we playing in the middle of the desert, man, but it's good. We see we've been putting in the work back here.
I see the play. I see the game plan.
We got the game plan right. But overall, man, just excited. Another week of football. These kids over here at school, they something different, man. They not the same kids that I grew up with in gym class. They just all over the place, but we do our best to manage it and keep it fun.
Do any of your kids have FanDuel accounts?
No, my other school they did. They was telling me about what to do. I'm like, what? How do you get on? You'd be surprised what these kids are doing these days.
Yeah. Today we're going to tap into the breakout stars. Who do we think the breakout stars or players are going to be? They don't necessarily have to be a star, but their play is going to be elevated this season. Who's going to break out? Offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. We'll give you a couple of players that we think are going to end up being very important pieces to what Notre Dame is going to do in 2026. We're going to hear from Mike Denbrock. We're going to hear from Chris Ash. Mike Denbrock, bro. Let me tell you something. The stories you share with me about Coach Denbrock when you were with him, totally, he has not changed, bro. If you watch him in practice and you connected to the stories you have shared, and we listen to him at press conferences, he is about as authentic and real and never changing as a coach could be. I mean, everything lines up. And of course, he gave us some gold as he met with the media. We will hear from offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock. And then just how comfortable is Chris Ash? Just how comfortable is defensive coordinator Chris Ash in his second season? I think we need to talk about that. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll hear from Chris Ash in his own words about his comfort level at Notre Dame. But I saw, you know me. I get updates from my previous employer. I'm still like, my email is still active. It's crazy, bro. Right? So I get an update uh, from Good Karma umbrella from ESPN Madison, and I see the first words are Barry Alvarez. So I'm already intrigued. Like, okay, Coach Alvarez, heavily connected to Notre Dame, won a national championship at Notre Dame as a defensive coordinator, Hall of Fame head coach at Wisconsin. Hall of Fame. The way he turned that program around, took them to multiple Rose Bowls, man, the running game, the legacy of offensive lineman, the running game, defense that he established, man, gotta love Coach Alvarez. And so I clicked on this video clip, and it was Coach Alvarez with three other gentlemen. One was just a regular host for ESPN Madison. The other two were former Badger players, and they started to talk about the Notre Dame game left, and they played a clip we played with the host talking about, Wisconsin can beat Notre Dame from what, especially if they're as good as I've heard from practice, right? And so Coach Alvarez is just sitting there like shaking his head, right? And so they were like, we got to come out, we got to punch him in the mouth. Now, these are the former Wisconsin players. We have to come out, we have to punch him in the mouth. All right, we got to punch him in the mouth. We got to keep punching him in the mouth. We got to run the ball. We got to keep him off balance. We got to hit a couple of big plays down the field. Got to play good physical, hard defense. Shut down their running game. They gave a long list of things to do.
They got to play that complete perfect game.
This is the ESPN. This halfway in, I'm in my car. Dude, I literally just taught Bible class. I had literally just taught Bible class, was in the right spirit. The joy of the Lord was upon me, bro. And I needed a good laugh. I really did. I needed a good laugh. So I'm in the car.
How many things they got to do?
I'm in the car dying, left. I'm dying. You guys could probably go to the ESPN Madison YouTube page and find it. I'm dying, left.
You're like, hey, you got to do 1, 2.
I'm like, what else? we got to keep CJ Carr in Indiana. We got to send somebody to stop being to keep making sick. Then we got to keep their running backs locked up in the locker room. It's probably a list of things. Add the foolishness and the ridiculousness to it. It was funny.
It's getting crazy.
They got through talking, and it took the old ball coach to simply say, no, I mean, what you laid out, they have to do all of those things to win. It's like, you can lie. Yeah.
It'd be better. I'd rather you be like the other guy, just say, we got a chance. Just don't give any reasons. Just we got a chance.
But the old ball coach said, none of that. All of that you're saying, because he was like, yeah, I got the Notre Dame fans upset with me. He said, I don't care about the fans. He said, all of that you're talking about, the Notre Dame players don't care about that. They're not listening to that. He was like, so as a coach that's been in this position, he's like, I'm worried about whether or not our coaches can get our players to actually believe they can do all the things you just listed. None of that matters. That's just for fans. That's for radio. Do the players believe they can execute that full list of things that you just said? That is the challenge. He said, I've had teams that were able to do it, and I had teams that I saw early on in the game, they didn't believe.
Didn't believe. A lot of it is belief. You got to believe first.
Oh, man. When he went down the list of things, this is all we have to do in order to beat.
The only things we got to get done is
the only things we have to do. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what? In that moment, I became thankful. You know why, Left? Because there was a day in my Notre Dame family where you could just say, all we got to do is stop the run. I remember those days as a Notre Dame fan.
No, stop the backup running back. We got to stop the backup running back.
The
Backup running
list
back
was
had
really
the
short.
PR days.
The list was really short when it came to the things to beat Notre Dame. I remember those days, bro. Now that list is real long. Not according to us, not according to Notre Dame fans, according to ESPN Madison and Wisconsin Badgers fans. It's a
The
long
game
list.
plan used to be load the box,
Mm-hmm.
one high safety, and let the QB beat you.
Yes.
Stop the run. You could have said made an argument for that the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I don't know. Outside of the Wisconsin guys giving us an updated scouting report, I don't really know. I mean, what are you on the USC tried to stop CJ, Jeremiah Love, and Jadarian had a field day. Boston College tried to stop Jadarian and Love. CJ Carr had a field day. But now, with a young superstar in Kedron, Nolan James back there, the versatile Aeneas Williams, a good old line, a receiver core that's coming together very strong. Where Marcus Freeman said we got to find 6 or 7 guys. QB on the Heisman list. Defensively, elite back end. One of the most experienced linebacker cores in the country. Experience as in all 3 of them have multiple years playing together and they all played in the championship before. And then you get the massive recruiting for the D-line with a second-year defensive coordinator. With all the transfers, making plays defensively from a Tioni Gray to a Charles or Francis Brew to a DJ McKinney to a Jalen Sanders. All the additions we made just seem to be making impacts. I don't know where you stop Notre Dame. Maybe Marcus Freeman get food poisoning. Maybe the bus gets a flat on the way to the game. Maybe they mess with our hotel in the middle of the night. But what can you do on the field? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Keon Keeley came back. Oh, my goodness. What do you do? What do you stop first? Because it's not we just got to catch us on a bad day. We got too many we got too many good things going on. Denbrock, Heisman, 2 first-round receivers, averaging 30-plus points a game. Defensively, top 5 defense the last almost 5 years in a row. I don't know many criticisms you can really have about Notre Dame moving forward. Where do we lack in? Before it was receivers and D-line. For the longest.
Quarterback too. No, we just 2 years into quarterback not being an issue. So let's not act brand new.
Receivers and D-line. That was the big hubbub. We don't have
our quarterback treasury is young money. We
just got
rich. We just got rich.
Yeah, we got new money in the quarterback room. That's gonna be there for a while. Secondary. Been turned a new leaf 3 years ago to get the defensive gauntlet going. Linebacker core has always been solid through coaching changes, but that's Marcus Freeman's baby, so you know that's going to be right. You know that's going to be right from a recruiting standpoint. You got Drake Bowen. You got the championship DNA in there. You got Faramo. You got KVA. You got whatever you want in that linebacker room with a linebacker coach that's aware that one of the few things they need to do better is catch the ball. He came in with something different. We got to work on catching the ball, which means we might be a little bit more zone-ish from a defensive perspective because that front 4, there's going to be nothing to play with. Now, Charlie Partridge has done an A+. I would give him an A+ on the offseason recruiting and putting the D-line together because I still haven't seen him do anything on the football field yet. But what did he tell you out his mouth? 2 weeks in, he isn't disappointed. And he just got here. 2 weeks in, he's telling you I haven't been disappointed yet. I don't know if that's from all his recruits he brought in or the competition and the standard has risen in the D-line room. Not to mention Aaron Henry, who took over a fabulous job by Mike Mickens and even elevated that room. It's tough decisions to make, not because we have lack thereof, but because we have a surplus of a lot more. We're not having a hard time finding a field corner because there's no talent. It's which direction do you want to go? Because one of the side of the field is already locked up. We ain't even got to worry about one side of the field. The other side of the field is competitive over there. Who you going to put? You got Kari, you got Sanders, you got McKinney, you got, just name it. That's 3 people right there. Christian Gray if you want to get cute. Not to mention what's in the backside with the safeties. A Don Shula, 3-year starter. With a Tay, future All-American, future top pick. With a Talek, the switchblade. With an Ethan Long in the backfield. With a Joey O'Brien. I mean, it gets you excited because you're like, you just start listing and you about on 5, 6, 7. You like, we still going. Viable players. Not backups. Viable players. That if any one of them started in any kind of combination, you'd be all right. How many combinations can you put together defensively and still say, oh, that's the top defense? 95% of the country is 1, maybe 2 deep. Think about that. Notre Dame is 3 or 4 deep. Seriously. At all positions, literally 3 or 4 deep. 3 or 4 deep at linebacker, 3 or 4 deep at corner, 3 or 4 deep at safety, 3 or 4 deep at running back. We got 3 of them. And that's just the ones that's getting attention. We put them other 2 back there going to be Javian Osborne and the rest. They might be something. Quarterback, 2 or 3, 4 deep. If you including Blake Hubert, Hubbub. That's 3 or 4 deep in quarterback. Recruiting is off the charts. So a lot of the reason why I think we're going to win is just we're literally more talented from a depth standpoint than 95% of the country. 95. Even Miami is 1 deep, maybe 2. 1, maybe. Seriously. Miami's maybe 1, maybe 2 deep. Ohio State is deep in aspects.
Depending upon the position. Depending on
depending on
the position.
Position dependent. They're not deep at quarterback at Miami because they getting a new one every year.
They're running. I agree with you. Quarterback.
They're not deep at quarterback.
Running back, yes. Tight ends, no, because they've had multiple injuries at the tight end. Right? Offensive line, they're building. They've been really well offensive line.
But they lost a lot last year.
Too deep. They're too deep at D-line too right now. They're too deep at D-line. I don't know. I'm going to see how that defensive backfield is because eventually it became a problem.
It did become a problem.
Yeah. So it's what you're talking about is very apropos because Coach Denbrock, you brought up the running back. And you brought the fact we're talking about 3. And the 3 we're talking about, of course, Aeneas Williams, Keedron Young, Nolan James Jr. The 2 running backs, which I won't even say that, I'll throw this tidbit in there. Mike Denbrock actually said, he talked about the running backs, and we're going to play the clip. But he said, yo, the 2 freshman running backs remind me of the 2 we just lost. And when I heard him say that, I said, he said the 2 freshman running backs,
not the guys that are in running for competition this year. He said the ones that ain't getting 1 or 2 reps.
He said that
1
combination
or 2 reps got traits of the 2 first rounders.
Those 2 remind me of the 2 we just sent to the NFL. That right,
and they're not even playing this year. You might not see them for about 2 years.
That's scary. That's scary. That's scary, brother. That's scary.
He didn't say Keedron, who been here. He didn't say Nolan, who ain't played yet. He didn't say Aeneas, who hasn't played yet on a significant level. He skipped all 3 of those talented backs to say, yeah, them freshmen remind me of the 2 first rounders we just let go. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to know what Dale Alexander thinks of our receiver room. That's what I want to know. Somebody call Dale.
Call Dale.
Somebody call Dale Alexander. Say, what you think of the talent now?
Do you think we can recruit to the wide receiver room now?
What do you say? He say, we can't get any talent in here. Really? I want to call Dale Alexander and see what he thinks right now. Did we get enough? Could you coach this room? We done filled it with NFL sons and transfers from Ohio State and guys that are on their 3rd year. What? We ain't going on YouTube for the receivers no more. D-line. We don't got skinny calf D-lineman no more. Not that Heinisch was bad, but Heinisch wouldn't play in this D-line structure right now. Charlie Partridge wouldn't say that's our starting 3 tech or nose guard or whatever. There's a waiting line in some of these rooms. But to say and to see that we have a good problem on our hands in all aspects.
Your boy Pete Boy.
Where he at? I want to know because he swore up and down. Oh my God, we can't get nobody in here. Really? We got Devin Fitzgerald showing up in the spring game, might not show up in the season. He just might be in the waiting line, and that's okay because guess what? He's going to be there sometime. He might be there second half when we blowing Wisconsin out of the water. I just want to know, to make a change, Marcus Freeman has only been there for 5 years. 5 years. After 10 years of complaining, saying what we can't do, being written off, talked about in the blogs, slated as overrated, we're getting more hate for getting better these last 5 years. Not to mention we already went to a championship in 3. But they said ND in 5. That's what I like to hear. ND in 5. Year 5, we're getting the championship. But what an amazing turnaround from a team that was winning 10 games consistently. And we still made a giant turnaround to where now the perception is freeze them out. Drop the game. Don't play them. Join the conference. That fast? All we did was get new coaches, replace some of the starters, get 2 first-round running backs, appear in the national championship, be second in all top 10 teams in most ranked wins. How do we have 16 ranked wins? Ranked. Feasible opponents in the top 25. We got 16 wins. The next best team has what, 17, 18? Why do we need to join the conference if we have the most ranked wins? Clearly, we just playing whoever's good. Not Abilene Christian. Not ITT Tech. Not Everest College. Not Montana State. You can laugh at NIU, but at least NIU is better than Abilene. What, you going to play Hofstra next? They ain't even got a football team anymore. So we're not looking to build our schedule around cheap wins that you got to pay for. That's what it is. Y'all paying for wins in the first week. Why? Y'all supposed to be the big bad conference. The big bad SEC, the big bad Big Ten, and USC. Oh my goodness. It's interesting how y'all compare schedules, but don't want to circle SMU. SMU's ranked, and they probably be better than half the teams y'all play. If you consider SMU a good team, that's 3 teams that's supposed to be big games. That's average. Everybody has that. But I know what's coming. I know what's coming, guys. We can't be in the playoffs because we had to play Oregon, IU, Ohio State. What they gonna say? What they gonna say? Oh, we. But it's interesting how they didn't try to rearrange the schedule for them, but they rearranged the schedule for us. They wanted to take us off, but y'all got all these other games that are ranked. So y'all saying we the best of all those teams that are ranked? Is that what y'all telling us? Y'all said Penn State was supposed to be worthy. Since when? The Iowa State Cyclones? The Penn State Cyclones. That's what y'all worried about, SC? That's what y'all considering a tough schedule? A team that just got there? A team that just melded two schools together? That's what y'all worried about? I don't get it. IU? Does anybody know the stars on IU? Or y'all just saying Kurt Cinetti can't throw no touchdowns? What's Kurt Cinetti going to do? This is an interesting situation we're in. For a team that took us off the schedule to complain about how hard their schedule is. Well, what do you say if you took us off? It can't be that hard. I digress.
Lucky Lefty podcast. That's one of the best opening rants of all time, Left. I would like to say this matchup was supposed to be played at Lambeau in 2020. It had to be rescheduled. They moved it to 2026. They did play the following year in Soldier Field, 2021. Of course, you know that game was just a terrible display of offensive football by both teams. Just awful. Notre Dame ended up blowing Wisconsin out that day. Drew Pine ended up throwing touchdowns that day. But it was an awful display of offensive football. You know, until the kickoff return to start the fourth quarter, Notre Dame was really struggling. They really were. And that was the introduction of Cam Hart as well, who had a couple of picks and some nice plays, moving from wide receiver over to defensive backfield. So it's going to be very interesting. And there's a huge Wisconsin connection on the coaching staff. Left Joe Rudolph, former Wisconsin offensive line coach, right? Chris Ash, former
Coach Rudolph been there for years.
Chris Ash, former defensive coordinator, coach over there at Wisconsin, and Aaron Henry, player and coach over at Wisconsin. So there's a lot of love that's going to be shared pregame. Like I said, with Coach with Barry Alvarez and the connection with the staff and the two schools and the love that's being shown, the connection to Lambeau, the Green Bay Packers, the ode that the uniforms are going to pay. It's going to be a great day. September 6th. A lot of love pregame. Unfortunately, once the ball is kicked off, reality is going to set in my opinion. And that's when I think the Wisconsin Badgers, who I expect to play really hard, they have a lot to prove. New offense, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, second to last deep offense in the entire country last year. They were awful. I hope they don't bring that offense back. Please be competitive. Please be competitive to get us ready for week 2. Lucky Lefty podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Thumbs up helps with the views. Comments, questions, we respond to all. X, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us at Lucky Lefty Pod. Audio edibles. Tap into the audio side. Set up for automatic downloads on Apple Podcasts. You can catch us on Spotify as well. And we are presented by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Notre Dame, September 6th, Lambeau Field. They take on Luke Fickell, his Wisconsin Badgers. 20.5 points. That's a lot of points to lay for week 1. I'm not sitting here to tell you which way to play it. I'm just sitting here to tell you that Notre Dame, in my opinion, is going to come out and play very well. You can find that and much more over at FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel. As we told you to start the show, Chris Ash met with the media. And two, we've lamented over and over again how Chris Ash trying to implement or force his system upon players that were used to playing a certain way, how it was a big mistake. And it was quite evident with the defensive performance against Miami and then the following week, or the following game, shall I say, against Texas A&M. So we can assume, or the assumption can be, that going into year two, same struggles with the previous defensive coordinator, Al Golden. Year one, we questioned the double safety blitz against Ohio State and some of the other mistakes that were made. And then year two, they ironed everything out. The defense looked much better. Players looked much more comfortable in his system. He looked much more comfortable as a play caller. What about Chris Ash? He's under the microscope for a lot of Notre Dame fans. He really is, ladies and gentlemen. And we fully understand why you might feel that way about Chris Ash. He has a lot to prove because there was a lot to be desired about some of his performances and some of his play calling and adjustments as a defensive coordinator, despite getting better as the season went along and his defense improving. And what we thought was going to be a playoff berth. Unfortunately, it didn't end up being that way. So Chris Ash talked about his level of comfort as the defensive coordinator with his system in year two. And this is what he had to say.
I mean, it's a completely different deal. I mean, I know that the players that have been here a lot better, you know, what their strengths and weaknesses are and what I think we can do well. And, you know, we just have a lot of work still to do, but we're just in a different spot at this point this year than we were at this point last year.
I feel good about that. For him to say that they're at a different point, I think that's fair. And to be honest, anytime you have a new coordinator come in, there has to be buy-in on both sides. And I think that's one thing that the fans, we were very deferential to the players in this new marriage between Chris Ash and them. And if we take a step back, bird's eye view, true assessment, biases aside, regardless of the system, tackling is something these young men have been doing for over a decade, probably before they got to Notre Dame. They were learning and practicing tackling under Al Golden. They were a very solid tackling team under Al Golden. Remember, Notre Dame defenses, especially in space, previously is something that we were upset about. Tackling was an issue that seemed to become a little bit better under the defensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman, who then went to head coach. Al Golden came in. We could talk about all of the different things he might have struggled with early on. But Al Golden's defenses were good tackling defenses. So despite Chris Ash bringing in a new system and not allowing his players to play aggressively, which could lend itself to affecting, or it could have very well affected the tackling. But getting the runner on the ground, that's a simple thing. And Notre Dame struggled to do that the first two games. I put that solely on the players. And if not solely, I put the majority of the responsibility on the players in that particular situation. But you still have to say that Chris Ash came in the wrong way. He came in the wrong way. And it was funny because all we heard from Chris Ash was, this is the Notre Dame defense. They've been successful for the past 2 years. There's no need to change anything. We're going to focus on the fundamentals. Remember he said that? Ladies and gentlemen? we're so focused on the fundamentals that we're focused on the fundamentals. And so that right there for me is hilarious to really think about. Lucky Lefty podcast. Left had to step away. He had to deal with some kids in detention. So he said, give him a second. He also talked about an offensive position that I really got encouraged when Chris Ash pointed them out. He talked about the tight end room, which is a question for a lot of people, right? It's a positive because you get Cooper Flanagan back. You love the progress towards the end of the season of James Flanagan. And then you get what most think was the top tight end in the nation, Ian Primer, who we've seen making turning, jumping catches on the videos that have been put out by ND Media. This is what he had to say about the tight end room and what it's been like working against them as a defense.
They present a lot of problems. They're big, they're strong, they can block, they can run, make plays in space in the pass game. So, we got a lot of guys that I would consider complete tight ends, and they can do both run, block, and they can get out and run routes and catch the ball.
Yeah, I think this tight end room really has a chance to harken back to the days of having one guy being really balanced. That's what I loved about the tight end room at Notre Dame. Like, you would have this one guy that was a true pass catching threat that could stretch the field. But then you had 2, 3, maybe even 4 guys that were solid inline blockers. You could use them in the running game. If you want to sneak them out, play action, they were very effective in that as well. This if they can stay healthy, because health has been the biggest issue with the tight end room the past 2 to 3 years. If they stay healthy, the depth that you get with the Flanagans, with Jack Larson, with Ian Primer, don't forget Ty Washington. He comes back for his second year. He should be much more comfortable. He was really starting to trend in the right direction toward the end of last year with his play. So you have to be very excited about the prospects of the tight end room and to hear your defensive coordinator point them out. Of course, he was asked about them, but for him to be talking about them in the light that he did, you have to feel really good about that. You have to love that. Now, he also went on to talk about a group that is one of the groups I'm the most excited to watch play. I am absolutely amped to watch this group play. And I can't wait to see what
How you doing? My name is Charlie.
Partridge. That's right, Uncle Charlie Partridge. I cannot wait to see the fruit of his labors on full display September 6th. I can't wait. I'm almost most excited. You know what? This is a very interesting question. Are you more excited to watch the Notre Dame offense, or are you more excited to watch the Notre Dame defense? Let us know. Let us know in the chat. Are you more excited to watch the Notre Dame offense, or are you more excited to watch the Notre Dame defense? That's a pretty good question, because there's so many reasons to want to, or to be very excited to watch both units play. Both units. Put it in the chat. Here is Chris Ash talking about that defensive line and the work that Charlie Partridge has done with them and the relationship they've built with their defensive line coach and the buy-in. Check it out.
I would say the chemistry of the group has been exceptional. They really have bonded together. I think the players and Coach Partridge have invested a lot of time to get to know each other. That was really important in this whole process with basically a new defensive staff with all of them. But they've really taken to his coaching, and he's taken to them as players and being his own group. So it's been fun to watch the improvement and the progress and the work ethic those guys all have put in.
Can I be petty for a moment, ladies and gentlemen? Because I hear certain things. And then I say, my ears went straight up. The alarm bells went off. Can I play something again? Let me be petty for a second. Because I think Chris Ash might have been petty. Say it again, Coach.
But they've really taken to his coaching, and he's taken to them as players and being his own group. So it's been fun to watch the improvement and the progress and the work ethic those guys all have put in. Yeah, I would say
it's been a pleasure to watch the improvement. And then he points out the work ethic. Now, he could just be saying, he loved watching the work ethic under Coach Partridge. But I wonder if deep down in his heart, he really feels like there's been an improvement in the work ethic of the room since Coach Partridge has arrived. I just found it interesting. And oh man, SD, you're reading too much into it. You might be right. You might be right. But I don't think Chris Ash hasn't been verbose, but I don't think he has hidden his feelings about some of the turmoil that existed between him and the assistant coaches. It was pretty evident when he talked about, or it was pretty evident in Charlie Partridge's opening press conference when he mentioned the conversations that he would have with Chris Ash and pointed out we can be grown men. We don't have to dislike each other. We can disagree and do our jobs and not particularly have to get into spats or have issues with one another. Now, why would Charlie Partridge say that unless he got it from the phone conversations he would have on a weekly basis with Chris Ash during the season, which he readily admitted he did have those conversations while he was working with the Indianapolis Colts right down the road. So I just really, I found that little piece of the audio very interesting. And I don't think Chris Ash is coming out there saying, I'm going to take a dig at the previous coaches. By no means am I saying that at all. However, I just thought it was interesting that he might feel like, I think the work ethic of the room is different, it's better, it's improved, and he's loved watching it. And I love hearing that, Coach. I love hearing that. Whether it's work ethic, fundamentals, counter moves, whatever it is, whatever it is.
How you doing? My name is Charlie.
Partridge has brought to Notre Dame in that defensive line room. I'm here for it. Notre Dame fans are here for it. Hey, we can't wait to see it on full display September 6th, that evening at Lambeau Field. We want them to come out and look like an NFL defensive line and an NFL defense in that NFL stadium. It would be a perfect fit and a perfect way to start the season. Let's see what you guys said a little bit. Michael Park said the D. Jay Greer said defense. Allen, what's up, Al? Al Aquino said he wants to see that offense. Mississippi, what's up, my brother? Said he wants to see the defense. Sly Fox said he's looking forward to seeing that offense. Ryan, roll. Offense already know defense will be killers. I feel you on that. Jay Grizz, offense wins games, defense wins championships. No doubt. Jay Melvin says defense, that D line. He's excited to see that D line. Rhymes, I see you. Good. I see you out there. I'm equally excited. Yeah, yeah. I said offense. I've been waiting to watch Kedron and Aeneas as starters for a while. Man, that's a darn good reason, especially the Kedron standpoint. That's they came in together. That was they were the heir apparents to Jadarian and J Love. You got teased with Aeneas freshman year. You got teased with Jawan Sider. You remember what Jawan Sider said when he came in? He said he talked to Kedron and asked him, like, yo, I'm looking at you in workouts. I'm looking at you in spring camp. Why didn't you play? Why didn't you play more last year? And then unfortunately, he comes down with the injury that keeps him out of 2025. So that's a darn good reason, man. ND9. Can't wait to watch the defense do their thing. Oh man, I love I love your pick, man, your profile joint, man. Marcus Freeman in the old school Lou Holtz sweater. Love it. Love it. Tom Balork says, I love when Sean is petty. You know what? I love it too. I love it too. Have some good fun, some good laughs, man. I think so too, Michael Parks. Yeah, I was just being a little critical, having a little critical thinking moment based upon what Chris Ash said. I think it's only right. I think it's only right. So let's see what the traders said. Sick and tired of hearing about whiskey D line, Notre Dame D line go smashing. You know what? They have the second most transfers. That's the one thing that is going to be interesting about this game and this era of the transfer portal. For Wisconsin to have the second most transfers, usually teams like that are really good early on and then they kind of fade, or it's the inverse. It takes them a while to get going and they kind of implode. I'm very interested how this Wisconsin team is going to look with a bunch of new players. I'm very interested. And like I said, I expect them to come out, be excited. They're playing Notre Dame. We say it all the time. Somehow, some way, Notre Dame just gets everyone's best punch. Everyone seems to play their best against Notre Dame. I expect nothing less early in this matchup. I expect nothing less, but I do expect Notre Dame and the talent that they have to eventually take full control of the game, wear the Wisconsin badges down, and come away with the victory. GTB from Chris Hallsfield. Sean, are we trading Colson Montgomery for some better pitching this offseason? Chris, that is a very interesting question. And I would look, I put up a post on X because I'm not as openly critical, because the young man really he hasn't played yet. He just played a full season, I think, last month. He's been in the major leagues for a full year. So you have to think about that. The young man has a lot of growing to do. His approach at the plate is bipolar. He's so pull conscious and he wants to get out and around everything. And it was good to see him last night get a couple of good big hits going back up the middle, because he's so strong. If he just had that approach to use every part of the field, he probably could hit 240 to 250 with the same amount of power and a lot more production, and cut down his strikeout rate and up his walk rate. That right there, he's an all-star if he can do that in today's game. This is not the past where half your shortstops in Major League Baseball were hitting like 300, 280 to 300. And it was a log jam at the All-Star break to see who was going to actually make the All-Star team at that position. But there is considerable pressure, Chris, on him and on this front office to figure out what's next with him. They moved Bromer to center field to get him ready to come up in September and give them a hand, possibly. And then they have 2 stud shortstops right behind him that are probably 1.5 to 2 years away. So I think he gets one more season to prove himself. I truly do. He gets one more season to prove himself. And then Bill Carlson and Rock Chalowski, they're breathing down his neck. And I think he knows that. They can't move him to third because Miguel Vargas is at third. You can't move him to first because Murakami's at first. You're not going to, Mydroff is at second. Where is he going to move to? The outfield? That's a very interesting question, Chris. But I do think in my heart of hearts, as an organization, I don't think they want to give up on the kid this fast. But he has a short runway at shortstop for the White Sox. He has a very short runway for the White Sox. Giuseppe said White Sox did a number on my Braves. Only took the makeup game in that series. Yeah, that makeup game hurt us though, because I think we ended up losing ground to everybody in the division on that day. And it was a crazy game. It was like 2-0 too. Like the teams, it was almost like the teams didn't even want to be there at Giuseppe. It was a makeup game. It was an off day for both teams. And then they both played that game like they had no desire to be there. Like, no, you take it. No, you take it. It was almost like they were trying to give each other the game before the Braves ultimately took it 2-0. And the Guardians, the Guardians are hot. But I expected the Guardians to stay in it. So, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Let's get to, before we get to that, subscribe to us on YouTube. Thumbs up helps with the views. X, Instagram, TikTok, social media. Audio edibles on Believe Network. Tap in. Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Let's go to Mike Denbrock. He met with the media as well. And Mike Denbrock talked about the running back depth. Let's talk about that because let me tell you something. I am super, super excited about the running back depth. But before we get to that, he talked about Notre Dame offensively. Have they identified what they're good at? And will they be able to start off fast in those areas to begin the season? This is what Mike Denbrock had to say.
Camp is over, but preparation and development is ongoing, right? And that's something that we've kind of talked about in a unit meeting offensively yesterday. As far as it's important every day to keep the main thing, and that's get better. So there's a whole lot of things we can still be a lot better at that we're going to focus on here over the course of the next week, and then get a little bit more into game prep as we go, but. We're not going to be a finished product week one. This is going to be an evolution of who we become over the course of the year. But I think obviously we've got a little bit better idea than we did going into last year about what our strengths are and how to really take advantage of those things.
Yeah, that's so true, Coach. Let me throw that back up there.
We're getting there. Camp is over, but preparation and development is ongoing, right? And that's something that we've kind of talked about in a unit meeting offensively yesterday. As far as it's important every day to keep the main thing, and that's get better. So there's a whole lot of things we can still be a lot better at that we're going to focus on here over the course of the next week, and then get a little bit more into game prep as we go, but. We're not going to be a finished product week one. This is going to be an evolution of who we become over the course of the year. But I think obviously we've got a little bit better idea than we did going into last year about what our strengths are and how to really take advantage of those things.
I love it. And then Joseph Connerty, you're right. Evolution is a very key word in what he's saying. And it really kind of gives a realistic view of the excitement we should have about this offense. Not so much that we don't want to see an explosive offense and improved passing game. CJ Carr really mastering the offense, along with still having a very effective run game. That's what we all want to see out the gate. But more than that, there is so much. I mean, when you have true freshmen at wide receiver buzzing, when you have Ian Premer, who Mike Denbrock, I think the clip is coming up, but Mike Denbrock pointed out, look, the kid is a playmaker. He's special. However, what do freshmen struggle with? Whether it's tight ends, running backs, wide receivers. Heck, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price struggle with it. Blocking, picking up blitzes, being able to establish the edge in the run game. That's evolution. Those are things, those youngsters, as they get better, as they enter into October, and they'll have more of an opportunity to play with the legislation that is giving freedom to Notre Dame and other coaches to be able to play their young players without having to worry about holding them back. Evolution of this offense is going to be about the talent, how it improves, how it gets better, because there's a lot of unproven talent in the wide receiver room. There's unproven talent outside of Aeneas Williams in the running back room. Let's talk about it. Even if we're going to be honest, our two tackles at that position are unproven. Gerby Lambert is proven at right guard. Feel very confident about his move to right tackle. The talent is undeniable when it comes to both of them. Absolutely undeniable. Not worried about that. But I'm excited to watch the evolution of Will Black. That's why, Joseph, your comment, you picked out the right word. This offense all year is going to be about how it evolves moving forward, game to game. If I were Mike Denbrock, I would be extremely excited to have my hand on the steering wheel of this offense, or the joystick in my palm for this offense. Because week to week, it should be very exciting to open up a new present every week for defenses to have to figure out. A new shiny toy to play with. It should be exciting for Mike Denbrock every week to be able to give defensive coordinators and defenses headaches with his game plan. Somebody asked me if Notre Dame, and chime in. Thank you for the super chat, Archie Ingram. Sean, what do you think about the LSU mess with the NFL players? We'll get to it. I'll get to it, Archie. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget your super chat. Thank you. Someone asked me, Sean, if Notre Dame comes out throwing screen passes like they did last year, will you be upset? And to keep it 100, I probably would, because my expectation is run the ball, play action, big plays down the field. So I probably would be a little bit upset. And I conveyed that initially. And as the conversation went on, I said, you know what? I wouldn't like it, but I feel like it would have a different purpose, because last year, I think that early game plan against Miami was purposed to help CJ ease into the game and also to help his offensive line against the Miami edge rushers. That was the purpose for that being installed. This year, if they came out and did that, I think they would be doing it because they feel like, yo, we have playmakers on the outside that we have to get the ball to. We have guys on the outside that if we get the ball in their hands, they could take a 2-yard catch and turn it into a 30-yard run or a 50, 60-yard touchdown. So I think the purpose of that would have a different feel this year. That's just when I really just looked at it in totality, I said, it probably would come across a little different this year. I wouldn't particularly like it. It wouldn't be the first thing I would be looking for out of the offense this year. However, you know what? Okay. Because I think it will have a totally different meaning this year. Mississippi said play calling was poo-poo. MJ the Great said, yo, I'd be aggressive. I want them to be aggressive. Yeah, Mississippi, I get it. Still irritated with the play with a Don in the end zone that should have been an interception or at least a pass breakup. I feel you, man. I feel you. He also went on to talk about the running back depth. This is what he had to say.
Running back room is another room that I think is got a lot of depth in it, and Aeneas I think is the leader from a standpoint of having experience and played in big games and kind of understands what it looks like. But Keydron Young has really come on in the last week as well. Nolan James has looked incredible during camp, and all those guys can get out and play out in space and run and catch the football, which is exciting. And then the two young guys, are learning and growing. I mean, you hand them the ball and it looks fantastic, and then you ask them to pick up a blitz and it doesn't look so fantastic, but that's young players, right? And they'll continue to get better, and we'll continue to bring those guys along. But the depth in that room and the quality depth that's in that room is pretty exciting.
I'm excited to hear that, man. And like I said before, he went further as he was talking with the print media, talking about, the two freshmen, as far as explosiveness, and he said it. We give them the ball, they look great. We ask them to pick up a block and pass pro. We used to say the same thing about Jeremiah Love. I remember saying the same thing about Audric Estime. The exact same thing. Dude, this dude struggles in pass pro as big as he is. So that's probably the hardest thing to pick up, which made it so amazing. I pointed this out. That made it, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm so high on Aeneas Williams. What Coach Denbrock just said about freshmen coming in. I say this again. Aeneas Williams with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price became the third down back where you have to be able to pick up blitzes. And the staff has to be confident to put you in that position consistently that you're going to be able to perform at a high level when it comes to protecting the quarterback. And as a true freshman, he was able to do that. As a true freshman, he was able to do that. That's why I'm excited about Aeneas Williams being full-time now. They had that much faith in him as a true freshman to allow him to do that. That says a lot about that young man, because you're hearing from Coach Denbrock how difficult it is for true freshmen to know what the heck to do when it comes to blocking and protecting the quarterback, especially when linebackers and safeties are blitzing. That lets you know how special Aeneas Williams, or how advanced he was as a true freshman running back in comparison to other talented running backs when they get the ball in their hands. He's just a complete running back. Totally different from Jadarian and Jeremiah. But Aeneas Williams, from the first time he set foot on the Notre Dame campus, has been a complete running back that you can trust in giving him the ball, receiving the ball in the passing game, and blocking. Says a lot about him. I'm super excited about the young man getting his opportunity. Also super excited about Keydron Young. Super excited about Keydron Young. He took over the last half of camp, the last 7 to 10 days of camp. He was a dude. He was a dude. And as we said, hopefully when he returns, he can be the answer to the short yardage game and the struggles. Answer the struggles that they had last year inside the red zone and short yardage situations. He has become that physical running back. But the shocker is he's explosive. He's elusive. He has that spin button going. He's making tacklers miss. And that's some pretty good tacklers on that Notre Dame defense. Love it. Love it. Because I feel like I know I'm getting a complete running back with Aeneas Williams. I love Nolan James Jr. and his physical talent. But Keedron Young just might be the difference maker in the running back room. I'm going to say that again. He just might be the difference maker in that running back room in 2026. And he's definitely on my list. He's on my list of offensive breakout players for 2026. I think he deserves to be on everybody's list. Definitely one of the most exciting players, or one of the players I'm most excited to watch play this year. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We talked in depth about that backup quarterback situation. And we jokingly said it, but we're dead serious. The two quarterbacks or the three quarterbacks that are battling for the backup spot, they're on the clock. Because when Champ Mons gets to campus, it's going to get real tight in that quarterback room. It's going to get real tight real quick. So, boys, you better put your feet in the ground, make some progress, get about as much as you can ahead of him before he gets in that quarterback room. Because when he gets in there, he's bringing a different skill set than what exists in that quarterback room. A different level of talent. But Mike Denbrock talked about the backup quarterback. Check out what he said.
Ash's defense, total confusion. But that's a good thing, right? They're learning with every snap, both of those guys. And, fortunately, they're playing within an offensive structure that allows them to fail and learn. And we're not afraid to let them do that on the practice field. And they've taken the knowledge and the lumps and grown. And you see steady growth in it's daily. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see it, but then when you pop on the film and you really pay attention to kind of the development piece of it, they've come a long way with their recognition, their understanding of our offense, the operation from snap to snap of our game. So I like where those two guys are going.
Yeah, two youngsters he was talking about. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. Would you, because we know Marcus Freeman and Mike Denbrock have both said that the competition is going to be ongoing. They have to name a backup for week one eventually. I think that's going to happen. Marcus Freeman will meet with the media next Tuesday. I think next Tuesday he will announce who the backup quarterback is. I fully expect that. But the competition is going to be ongoing. I think that bodes well for Teddy Gerard, in my opinion, because even when it's ongoing, he will be running with the scouts, which means he will be playing against the starters in preparation each week. For me, if I'm Teddy Gerard, that's what I want. And I believe that's a big reason, other than NIL money and getting to the bag, which is obvious. It's one of the reasons why you're seeing these quarterbacks reclassify, right? Get to the bag, get on campus quicker, become acclimated quicker, and you grow more, in my opinion. You grow more playing college football on a weekly basis as a scout quarterback than you do dominating high schoolers that are not on your level week to week. Day to day, week to week, Teddy Gerard is playing against one of the best defenses in college football. Week to week. Man, darn right it speeds up his development. Absolutely speeds up his development. So I think he has a shot. A shot. Can't give you a percentage, but I think he has a shot. Say by the time they get to November. Oh, if he does his thing, Teddy Gerard might be your backup quarterback. He might be. Right now, if I had to handicap it, Blake Hebert, Noah Grubbs will battle it out to see who becomes the backup quarterback to start the season. Blake Hebert, in my opinion, has to show a little bit more. Because, look, it's always easy to go with the youngsters that have higher upside, right? Always easy. And look, man, this is me being petty again. This is me being petty. Based upon my calculation, no one else. I've seen a lot more Noah Grubbs and Teddy Gerard highlights put out by Indie Media. That's just my calculation. That's what I've seen. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying. So I think the ongoing says a lot. I think the ongoing competition says more about Grubbs and Gerard. No, it can go both ways. I think it says something about Grubbs and Gerard, but I think it says something about Hebert as well. Because if they were fully confident in Blake Hebert, I think by now it would be known that he's the backup quarterback. Because that full confidence isn't there, the door has been left open. And I think they have been pleasantly surprised by the two young quarterbacks, Noah Grubbs and Teddy Gerard. And hence, you have an ongoing quarterback competition for that second spot throughout the season. Should be interesting. You heard Chris Ash talk about how impressive the tight end group has been. Mike Denbrock, they might not have that Michael Mayer, that Tyler Eifert. Tight end by committee is probably the theme. But will there be a guy that comes to the forefront for this tight end room? Could it be Cooper Flanagan? Mike Denbrock talked about the group.
I mean, I think we've got a deep room, which is a good thing, and I think it'll be a little bit tight end by committee at times. I mean, I think we're 4 or 5 deep in that room that can really play meaningful snaps and play really championship football. So that part's exciting. As we go through game plan and things like that, we'll be a little more specific with how we use certain guys. But I love the depth in there, and I like the progress that those guys have made.
Man, I'm missing the conversation in the chat that Michael Irvin was spotted in a dorm room at Penn State. Yo, this is wild, man. Leave Penn State. I see I got Penn State Sports Talk jumped in. Leave him alone, man. Let him talk his talk. I'm not even gonna mess with him because every time he jumps in the chat, I find a way to just kind of totally destroy whatever point he's trying to make. But I understand he's trolling and being petty. I don't even know what he put out there that got everybody riled up and going there. But like I said, guys, come on, man. We can disagree. We can poke fun at each other. But at the end of the day, no insults, nothing personal. Keep it classy. And we good. I see Jay Grizz. Jay Grizz say we cooking SD. Like I see. If Left was on here, he would really get to cooking. talking about the Cyclones up there at Penn State. They're no longer the Nittany Lions, with their new coach bringing his entire team over from Iowa State. Not Breaking Bad University. Y'all, wow. Y'all, wow. I know y'all just poking fun. Usually, when I have Left on here and he's talking, I can tap into the chat. So I really haven't been able to focus on the chat. You know, I'm by myself right now. And Left is over there playing Joe Clark in detention with his students, which is crazy. Oh, man. Last but not least, Mike Denbrock, ladies and gentlemen, man, these wide receivers, we talked about this yesterday. I mean, Monday, on Monday's show. Who is going to be that number 2, right? Assuming Jordan Faison, who is always the first wide receiver that comes out of Marcus Freeman, Mike Denbrock, or any other, Mike Brown, any other coach's mouth concerning the wide receiver room. All right. So if we're going to be fair, from what we hear consistently, Jordan Faison is considered the number 1 wide receiver and the leader or the captain of that room. That's just the fact. Jaden Greathouse. I almost said Jordan Greathouse. Jaden Greathouse. Can he return to his playoff form that we saw that gave promise to all of us about his play last year? Unfortunately, he dealt with some injuries and some other things. Will it be Micah Gilbert, who we've constantly heard about, his size, his speed, the combination, the things he can do? He did it last year. Seems like the touchdown against Miami, he was getting off to a good start. Unfortunately, he gets injured, has to miss time last year. Mylan Graham, Mr. 1200, as I've coined him based upon what Malik has said. He expects him to put up 1,200 yards. I would love nothing more than Mylan Graham to come out, dominate, and put up 1,200 yards. Could he end up being the number 2? Elijah Burris, he returns from a hamstring injury early in fall camp. And at the end of fall camp, he was hooping. He was balling. We told you. I watched his sophomore film in high school and said, yo, this kid is advanced at route running. By the time he got to his senior year, Ryan Roberts and I just wanted to see his explosiveness. Where's the explosiveness? We see he knows how to play the position. We see he knows the route tree. We need to see the big plays and the explosiveness. And did he give it to us? You better be. Did he? He hops on the scene his freshman year in that spring camp. He's buzzing. Then he kind of just fades to the background. Great to hear how he's progressed. Love hearing Matt Jeffrey. I remember watching camp and watching drills in 2025 prior to the season and saying to those that were next to me, yo, dude has some great feet, bro. He can go. I don't know if he's going to play, but he can go. And here we are. The coaches can't keep Matt Jeffrey's name out of their mouth. He has forced his way into being a rotation wide receiver at the University of Notre Dame. That's an incredible feat. That's incredible. Because this is not the wide receiver room of old, where you saw a guy like Matt Jeffrey getting reps, and you're like, man, that lets you know the status of our wide receiver room. No. That's not the same message for Matt Jeffrey. Not the same message. Now it's this dude must have some go. If he's in the rotation, he has some go. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I saw it in drills. Like, okay, yeah, he can go. And the kid is, man, arms are, he's cut. He's cut as well. Mike Denbrock talked about the receivers, specifically the young ones. This is what he had to say.
A little bit of this guy this day, that guy that day. You know, I like that we're developing some really nice depth there and some really quality go-to pieces when they're called upon. So, you know, there's a good collection of a number of guys. I'd hate to just point out one or two guys, to be honest with you, because I really like what that room is doing. They've been on the grind and have been improving kind of day to day, and I like where the young guys are headed, and I think there's some quality depth in that room that's going to continue to be developed.
That's the common theme today. If you don't leave today's show with anything, leave with the fact that Mike Denbrock continues to say quality depth about the running backs, the tight ends, the wide receivers. Your skill positions, quality depth. The story or the narrative is no longer we need these freshmen to come in and be contributors. No longer are the walk-ons being part of the rotation. No longer is that considered a negative. Those days are over. The narrative has changed at Notre Dame offensively. Now, have we really seen an absolute complete Notre Dame offense? No. It's fair. It's fair to say no. We all think this will be the first year where we see an absolute complete bang your head against the wall, full week of preparation for the defensive coordinator offense and Notre Dame. I think this is the first really good opportunity for that to take place. Like we've seen Notre Dame offenses put up, close to 40 points a game. Statistically, yeah, you look at it and say, man, this is a great man. They had a great offense last year. But if you really just get under the hood of those offenses, you start to find some wear and tear. You start to find some leaks in some lines, running to the engine, maybe in the oil line. Yeah, you start to find some leaks. And that is where I think Notre Dame takes the step with the evolution of the offense throughout the season, as we heard Mike Denbrock talk about, but then the quality depth along the offense that allows that evolution to continue to ascend as they go into October and November and into the playoffs. That, in my opinion, is what is going to make this Notre Dame offense very special. Very special. Not just because it's statistics and average, but the ways they can beat you. The multiple ways they can win a game running it down your throat. They can win a game spreading it out. They can win a game being balanced. They can win a game hitting you with big plays. They can win a game hitting you with screen passes. They can win a game hitting the running backs out the backfield. There's so much dexterity to offensive game planning for Notre Dame this year. That's why I said the one coach I would want to be. That's an interesting question. I think I'll end with this, and then we'll save our breakout players for tomorrow when Left gets back, because I want him to be a part of that. And I think you guys want to hear what he has to say about that. Interesting question. What coach on the staff would you, outside of Marcus Freeman, you can't say Marcus Freeman, ladies and gentlemen, what coach on the staff would you like to be this season? If you could coach any position or be a coordinator, which coach on the Notre Dame staff would you like to be if you could going into this season? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to wait a little while because I'm very interested. I'm very interested in hearing what you guys have to say. That's, it could, My answer is the guy on the screen. But I would have to think, I thought long and hard about Charlie Partridge. I really did. I can see somebody saying Chris Ash because I don't have confidence in him. So let me call the plays. I can see someone being petty, going that route. I can see that. But man, let me know in the chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. Time Cone says Partridge. I feel you. I said Jean-Marie. Okay. BJ, Coach BJ. Sid Iris says the safeties coach. Ed says DC is too easy. Okay. Then what is it, Ed? If you're not going to take the easy route, which route are you going to take? Let me know. Let me know. Secondary. Joseph says the secondary. Michael Park says the O-line. He would be the O-line coach. MJ the Great said he would be the DC. Al Aquino said he would be Coach Henry. Nikita, what's up, girl? She said she would be Coach Henry as well. Jay Melvin said Uncle Charlie Partridge. Brady says D-line coach. Oh, okay, Ed. I feel you. He said he's taking the easy route. I feel you. Be the DC, the easy route with all of that talent. I feel you now. All right. Okay. Sly Fox goes special teams with Coach Marty. And Justin Indy Sniper says Partridge for me. All right. Right. I see what you said here, Justin Indy Sniper. I was hoping Porter would be that guy. As far as the wide receivers, maybe my mid-season just has to get healthy, man. Has to get healthy. Jay Henry said he's Geno, quarterback coach. You know what? Geno would be interesting as well. Like I said, I would choose Coach Denbrock. Then I probably would choose Coach Partridge after that. Geno is a very interesting pick, right? Because the majority of the work, you would assume the majority of the work, there's still work to be done. He still has to coach CJ Carr. Let's not act like he doesn't have to coach CJ Carr. He still has to coach CJ Carr. But you would think the majority of the work, the building up, the foundation has been laid for CJ. That backup quarterback competition should be demanding, but it should be fun as well. It should be demanding in season for Geno, but I think it's going to be fun as well for Geno because I think he's a coach that loves doing I think he loves coaching the position. I do. I really do. I think he really loves coaching the quarterback position. So that's actually a good one. That's actually a good one. And Coach Brown at wide receiver, that's interesting as well, especially with what Justin Indy Sniper said about the situation with Porter. Like finding that guy and tinkering with combinations, but having the talent. It's not like you're trying to find a combination, but you don't have the pieces, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not like you need batteries and all of your remotes in the crib and you're putting shout out to people that do this because I've done it. You know what I'm saying? But you're putting all of the batteries, you're taking the batteries out of the remotes and putting them in the freezer, trying to, get what's left out of those, right? Or you find other AAA and AA batteries around the crib laying around, and you don't know, are these old batteries? Are they new batteries? You have Duracell batteries mixed in with Energizer batteries, mixed in with the generic batteries, and it's all types of different combinations in the remotes. And you're pointing, trying to say, man, I hope this combination works. I hope that was like the wide receiver room before. Now I think Mike Brown has fresh batteries, like fresh talented room. And now he's just trying to find the most consistent and explosive talent, right? And now, as you said before, Marcus Freeman said, we're trying to find 6 or 7 guys. those 6 or 7 guys are all really good players. And you still have the promise of guys like Caden Finley, Bubba Frazier, Braden Robinson. I mean, hey, you had to feel good. Devin Fitzgerald, right? It's totally different now. So Mike Brown, yeah, Mike Brown is a great guess. Yeah, if you wanted to be Mike Brown, that would be dope. That would be dope. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Great show today, guys. Absolutely amazing. We thank you for tapping in. Howard Griffith. Howard Griffith is going to tap in with us tomorrow. He's going to preview Wisconsin just a little bit, but we're going to talk about some other things as well. We're going to talk about some things along the landscape of college football. And he's seen Notre Dame practice, so we'll get his thoughts on what he thinks about the Fighting Irish. Tap in with us on YouTube. If you have not hit that thumbs up, do us a favor. Hit it right now. It helps with the views. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love for you to leave comments and questions. We're going to start running our polls on the YouTube channel every day, starting next week, leading into week 1 in the first game. So tap in and check out the YouTube page every day so you can participate in our poll questions. And then we'll start having our poll questions back here on the show on a daily basis as well. We want to see what you think about everything that we're talking about. Tap in on social media, X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. And then our audio side, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, courtesy of Believe Network. And we are presented by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Everybody, we love you. We appreciate you. As I say always, continue to love each other. But most of all, please make sure you continue to spin it different. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening.